I'm Kiwi,
And I'm Jarad.
and we are the two gentlemen coming to you like a phoenix from the ashes. Jarad, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. I've other than the Origin the other night, I'm okay. But that was a debacle. But I'm living the dream, mate. Living the dream. Just busy doing all those nothings that we talked about.
Just
What about
to
yourself, mate?
clarify, with Origin, you're referring to the State of
Oh,
Origin, Game
I
1,
am. Yeah,
2024, and the debacle
yeah,
was Joseph Swali charging
yeah.
in with a flying shoulder and knocking out Reece Walsh and getting himself sent off. Is that the debacle you mean, Jarad?
7 minutes into the game. Yeah, yeah, and just us not winning. So they did. Yeah, they tried hard, but yeah, when you're one man down against some quality in any sport, you're in trouble. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, yeah,
Especially
yeah.
tennis.
Yes, especially tennis. Nice, good joke. But no, I've been well, mate. I've been well. It's been a long time. Um, I did a New Year's resolution. So we're sitting here now in I don't even know June. So I've done that New Year's resolution of I've stopped drinking. So I've decided to go. Well, the original plan was 3 months, but I'm a bit. I don't know what my mindset, but I'm sort of like, oh well, I've gone this far. I might as well go a bit longer, and yeah, I've got to June without having a drop of alcohol. So it's been hasn't been that challenging for me, but it's been good. I've been good. I feel good, and it puts a different spin on when you go out socializing with people and things like that. And when you go out to sort of situations where there is going to be alcohol, you have to make that decision. But there's no taxis or Ubers home, so that's always a bonus. Save a bit of money there, and yeah, it's pretty good.
Jarad, no offense, but if we were talking about which friends of ours would be quitting alcohol, you would never have been on my list.
None taken, none
Now,
taken.
not
But
like you're an alcoholic or anything like that,
no,
but you are
no,
known for some pretty big nights.
yeah. But that's where it sort of stopped with me. Like I wouldn't, like I don't get home and have any alcohol. Like I don't have a case of beer waiting for me and have a six pack after work, and that I just never have done that. I don't have wine with dinner or anything like that. I don't drink other than probably when I used to sort of go out. But as I got older, for me, like when I did go out, it was such a big recovery. You're just shocking your body into alcohol that, you have such a big night and it just ruins you for a week. And, as you got kids and as you're growing up through life, you don't need that, right? I'm trying to function as a good dad and a good family guy, and just trying to be able to do everything the best I can. And yeah, I made that sort of decision. It's not, I wouldn't say I'm a non-drinker. Like I don't see myself not ever having a beer again, but just at this time of my life, I don't really need it or want it. So that's the way I sit.
How does your body feel after one beer? Because I've been really big on sleep recently. So I've
Mm.
been researching it a lot and just focusing on quality of sleep. And, so I read message boards and what other people have to say. And some people say that just a little bit of alcohol really affects their sleep.
Yeah.
So we're old. There's no
Yeah.
way of getting around that. We're very, very old men. And I feel like my sleep is precious.
Uh-huh.
Don't steal any of my gold from me, and my gold is
Yeah.
my sleep.
It's my
So,
gold. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like, the liquid amber, that would maybe affect your sleep a lot. So now that you haven't had it for 6 months, do you
Mm.
think if you just
Mm.
went out and had a beer, that would actually knock you about more than what it normally would have?
I have thought about that, knowing that one day I'll have a beer again, or but I don't know. I think it would. I mean, if you hear that if people when they do stop drinking and they go a bit silly after one or two. Yeah, look, I've always been able to have quite a few in one sitting without really getting too affected. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how my body reacted if I did introduce alcohol again to it. Um, I'll have to report at a later date. But
Please
yeah, I think it
do,
would
for
have an
science.
effect. I think it would have an effect. I mean, you remove anything from your body, like you stop eating things, or and the moment if you were to stop drinking milk or having dairy, and then all of a sudden you reintroduce that, your body would have a reaction to it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say it would. But Yeah. So your point about sleep, though, it sort of makes, like, I know that whenever I would, like if I'd go, and when I say go out, like if I'm out till like midnight, like that's out for me now. Like that's a big night for me now, right? But, like if I had alcohol with that, I wouldn't sleep well the next couple of days. Like you don't rest well. You're always worried if you're going to wake up feeling a bit sick.
Mm-hmm.
So these days you go to bed and you actually stay asleep. So it's good.
Yeah. Well, actually, we had the pleasure of catching up 2 weeks ago, so that's pretty rare. We hadn't seen each other for probably 9 months or something, and we caught up with a couple of friends. And once it hit 9:30, I was like, "I've got to go, guys."
It was like that, wasn't it?
I needed to get home. I wanted to be home by 10, so I could go through my routine, brush my teeth, and try to get to bed. But yeah,
it was a mass exodus.
Yeah. And everyone was like, "Yeah, it's time to go, boys. 9:30." But it's pretty shameful, but at the same time, I've got my priorities these days, and sleep is right up there. So
it was still we out 4 hours or whatever, however long it was that we were there. So it's not like we were sort of there for 10 minutes. So
yeah, and it was quality time as well.
Yeah, it was. And I don't know if you noticed, I was drinking the non-alcoholic beer. So
of course I noticed.
I think I was teased about it. I never really thought I would drink that, but I just thought these are the type of, I guess, transition or what would you call it? Things that sort of help with, your natural instinct to buy a beer when you're in an RSL club with your friends.
Yeah.
Your first thing you go to is the bar. So the non-alcoholic sort of beer, I know you can sit there and drink Coke all night, but I don't want to drink Coke all night. That makes you feel ill. So I just think, like that is, and I end up having like two, I think maybe three.
I think you had three.
Yeah. So really that's nowhere near the speed I would have been drinking if I was actually drinking for alcohol.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know, it's just more of something to hold, something, it's just getting through that usual, the norm of having a beer when you're at a sort of like a club situation with friends.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a life hack, isn't it? Just having that little replacement to replace that habit.
Yeah, and I don't think it's anything new, but it definitely helps me a little bit. And like I said, I don't sit there and have 15 of them, but it just helps.
Yeah, good on you, Jarad. And what's you said it hasn't been that challenging. What's been the best thing out of it for you?
For me, it's the and again, I want to stress that like I'm not going out every weekend, so it's not like I'm having these moments. But what would occur was if we weren't really like if I don't have any sort of plans to go out somewhere, our weekends kind of consist spending time with family.
Yeah.
That would also probably have a beer or two or a wine or involved with it. So most weekends you'd have that, right? So you'd have, but you wouldn't go and have a massive evening, but it would be like, 5 or 6, right? Enough to, over a period of 5 hours. So enough to sort of, not drive home, but not be, drunk, but you're in that sort of middle stage, but you still, you wake up the next day, you're a bit cloudy. So for me, it's the clarity of the days. Like everything's been a bit clearer. Like I find myself even at work, like not at work, but like at, when there's a problem in front of me, I'm a bit clearer with things. Sometimes, well, it is some, whether it be at work or family, you come up with the response or the answer quicker.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, I found myself, being a lot clearer, and feeling a lot better in that regard. I think without knowing it, I think just that consumption of alcohol can just, make things a bit blurry without sort of even realizing it.
Yeah, right.
You have to remove it to realize it. And it's not blurry that it's like it's not blurry that it's debilitating blurry. It's just, I'm seeing things a bit better now,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once it's gone. So
yeah, you don't know you're in the matrix till you step out of it.
yeah, and everyone's got a different take on things and when they remove things from their life and so on. But this has just been my experience, and I'm sure the person someone who sits next to me is doing the same thing has different experiences. So
yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a huge development, Jarad. We haven't we haven't done the podcast for that long, and so that's a huge development in all that time. Jarad comes back, starts recording as a teetotaler.
Oh, what a moment, hey? It's one of those moments in podcasts now, isn't it? But I didn't actually ask how have you been, mate? I've spent the last 10 minutes talking about my moments. So how have you been, buddy?
Thanks for asking, but I did really want to talk about your dropping of alcohol. I thought that it was a really interesting thing, so don't need to apologise for that. Look, I've been really well, Jarad. I've had a tough 9 months. For those of you who listen to our show, I've referred to someone as Listener Zero. So she was the first person to ever listen to our show, and the reason why I referred to her as that is because she listened to it before the show existed. Jarad and I recorded, and she was the first person whose opinion I sought. And she was lovely. And I think she was only 20 years old at the time when I got her to listen to it. So she's, it was not even half our age at the time. Yeah. And last July, she was diagnosed with cancer. And just keep in mind, so she was only 21 at the time. And she's a beautiful woman and went through all this treatment and was quite positive. And sadly, she died this April. So that was really hard in a lot of ways. I've never actually lost a friend before. I've, known adults that died and, other family members who weren't my friends, but this is the first time a friend had died. And of all people, it just, it really shook me because, of course, I miss her, but just the injustice of it. Yeah. So it was a lot to process. A lot to try to reconcile, make sense of, and there's no reconciliation. There's no sense in any of this. It's not right. It's unnatural. It's
all that.
Yeah, it's everything. There's so many thoughts going through my head, and it's been really hard. I really miss her, and just knowing that this stuff happens. Like, of course, I think about death probably more than most people. It's just how I am, and I'm not in a negative way or anything. It's something that I try to prepare for. Try to be realistic about, but when it actually happens, there's a big difference between understanding and realization. Yeah. And there's so much that goes along with it. So that's probably been the biggest thing for me, just dealing with the death of a friend who certainly didn't deserve it. And you even go through you have terrible thoughts, and you even name people. You're like, why wasn't it this person? Yeah. Honestly, it was that bad. And,
it's a grieving process that you go through, and everyone, it's when you look back on that process you've gone through, and you've done it quite recently, you do think, you do start just going through all those moments of like, why and why not, why them, and why they don't deserve it, and it's just it's impossible to come up with the answer.
There is no answer
you can settle on, because there is no answer. Yeah.
No, look, life is a mystery, Jarad, and so is death. So you can't say why this person or not that person. It's just, it is what it is. And she was really gracious the entire time. She handled it better than any of us, that's for sure. Yeah. But it's really sad to see somebody suffer so unnecessarily. And so that's been the toughest thing for me to deal with in these past few months. And
I'm sorry that's happened to her. And these words don't really count, but in regards to that, sorry isn't enough. But it just just terrible to hear that people, herself and all people close to her has had to go through with what she had to deal with. It's not.
What I will say is her family are the most gracious, classiest people I've ever met. They're such good people. They've handled it as well as anybody possibly could. There's no getting over it. That's the thing. Like, you're not supposed to get over the death of your child. You just have to learn to live with it. Yep. And at her memorial service, there were probably 400 people. She had a lot of friends, and she lived a really full life in her 22 years.
Yeah.
So I guess that's one consolation out of it, that she actually had a beautiful life and that she was a beautiful person. So now that's led me on to some crazy stuff, Jarad, and I'm going to share it because it's really important that we're honest with our listeners, honest with each other as well, and that we share our struggles. So I don't know if I've said this out loud on our show, but I'm what most people would call an atheist, in that I don't believe in a creator God.
Yeah.
Right. Very happy for anyone to have their own beliefs as long as they know why they believe it. But this is just me personally. But having said that, I don't believe in a creator that people have come up with in history. Like, you know, there's a saying, everyone's an atheist about every other god except their own.
Yeah.
So, you know, if we were to talk about Zeus, you would never say to me, oh, why don't you believe in Zeus? We just don't these days, right? We just accept that that was a myth created by ancient Greeks. But that's not to say that there's nothing else out there other than what we see and feel in this life, this dimension. And this is getting woo-woo. If anyone wants to turn off now, if anyone wants to come over and just throw rocks at me and go, Kiwi, you've lost your mind, that's fine. I've always been a little bit crazy. I just probably haven't talked about it a lot.
You go on.
So, look, I'm going on a rant here, guys.
I'm actually really quite just picturing people throwing rocks.
At me, yeah. Or tomatoes. Throw tomatoes. Don't throw rocks. They'll hurt.
No, rocks is a bit hard. Rocks is
no, don't throw tomatoes. Don't waste food.
Yeah.
Just hurl insults. That'll do.
Yeah, hurl insults.
But look, I do believe that there's more to this life than just this. I just don't believe in a creator God, if that makes sense. And, you know, the myths that we've come up with over time, over the last 10,000 years or however many thousand years, are just our way of trying to understand what we don't understand. So when our friend died, I thought, look, life is just energy. Everything's just energy. You know, we're just tuned into this one particular frequency. What if there's more? Like, I would love to know what happened to her after she died. So I started looking into all this stuff about near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences. And, you know, I went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, where'd that lead?
Well, I used to really be into meditation when I was younger. So when I was about her age, I went to a meditation retreat and I was really, really into it. And it was a tool that set me up for life. And whenever I needed to calm, I would meditate. Within 3 days of consistent meditation, it was like I was wearing a force field around me. Nothing bothered me. I was just always calm. Yep. And, you know, there was no alcohol involved, no drugs or anything like that. It was just like a mindset shift.
Yep.
I was just different. So there was this technique I heard about and it sounds insane. And it's supposed to. This is a bit where you're like, oh, God, Kiwi, you've lost your mind.
This is when someone starts the conversation. This sounds insane. It's always interesting to know where we're going to go. But go.
Apparently, it's a way to train yourself to have out-of-body experiences. Yeah. And I made it my goal to have an out-of-body experience. I thought, I'm going to have an OBE, transcend space-time, and I'm going to meet my friend on the other side and chat with her. So I started doing this meditation, and there were moments where I thought I'd broken my brain. Like during the day when I wasn't meditating, I was like in a haze and I was actually worried that I'd done something to myself. If I'd had, I was talking to Erica about it. I said, if I'd had medication or drugs and I had this happen to me, I would have stopped. I'd been like, whoa, these are some weird side effects. You know, I think something's happened to me. Yeah. I'm fine now. Maybe I'm just used to it now, but it was really intense. And I never left my body, just to just spoiler alert, it didn't happen. Okay. That's not to say it won't happen.
I was waiting, but yes.
But this whole thing with losing a friend has just made me, I guess, more spiritual. It's made me focus on that side of my life that I'd neglected for a while. Now people can listen to this and say, oh, as a skeptic, and you should be a skeptic. I'm just a random guy on the internet. Even those of you who know me in real life, I'm still just, you know, some guy with an opinion. So don't think any of this is real. Just go by your own facts and you go by your own life, and you can, you know, call me crazy and be a skeptic. I absolutely respect that and want that from you. But, I've really been focusing on this part of my life that I guess I've been neglecting, and, you know, losing my friend was the catalyst for that. So you could say, yeah, you've just, this is just part of your grieving process. You believe in crazy things because you can't let go. That's fair.
Mm.
That's a fair call.
Yep.
But either way, it's been one hell of a ride, Jarad. I do feel like my mind is better. It's clearer. And some things, real synchronistic things have happened, which I would love to share with you, Jarad.
Yep. Just, there's a lot to take in there. So, but for me, like, it stands out that, like people go on these chosen, like you said, that's a part of your life you've neglected. So you've chosen to neglect, like for whatever reason, whether it be subconsciously or consciously. But now, that part of your life has opened up because of an incident or a situation. And that's how people find themselves, like there's always that, I don't know, straw that breaks the camel's back that makes you sort of change direction or reassess or whatever you need to do. So like, yeah, I'm going to say it's definitely a part of grief that's led you here. But like the grief, once you find that path though, the grief then sort of takes a back seat. Like, but I mean, that situation and that grief has made you go, oh, okay, well, I need to really get in touch with this side. And, and like you said, for that reason of, I'd love to be able to talk to her again or see her again or whatever it might be. But, like, I don't know if you're holding on to the grief if you continue down that path, if you know what I mean. Like, yes, the grief pointed you in that direction and the situation, but then if you put that as situation and leave that grief behind and then go down that path, like you're still allowed to do that, like there's nothing stopping you. Like if someone says, oh, that's just grief 2 years down the track, well, it's not. It was grief that started the journey, but, like I've now found all this other stuff that I wouldn't have found if I didn't have that moment. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Thank you, Jarad. And that's really nice of you. It's almost like you've given me permission to take this path. It's
that's
not like that's what you were saying, but I do feel that it's really kind of you to see it in such a way. And you're a very open-minded person. We've talked about this before. We've interviewed Rob before. I know that you don't think that this is all there is. No. So for you, it's like, like something had to push you in that direction. This happened to be it. And now, you're walking it and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'd just like to share something which is kind of crazy. So through this meditation technique, I was on a forum and someone was saying, has anyone's wishes come true from this? Like, anything that you've manifested. And I was like, wow, you can do that? And again, it's one of those, woo-woo things. So please, again, take it with a grain of salt. Don't even take it with salt, You can throw chicken salt at me.
Don't even waste your salt.
Exactly. And I thought, wow, that can happen. Anyway, as everybody on this, any listener knows, I've written a novel and I've never gotten anywhere with it. So I've sent it to publishers, agents, and all I know is rejection.
Yep.
Anyway, last Tuesday, the Tuesday just passed, I got an email while I was at work with a particular client. And I'm not kidding. Everything I'm telling you is 100% the truth. I got an email while I was in the presence of this client, and I had visualized this happening, even with this person. I got an email from an agent saying they're interested in my novel. And the email was it was a very enthusiastic email. It wasn't a cold, thank you for sending me your manuscript. We would like to continue reading it. Please send it at your earliest convenience or something, right? Mm-hmm. It was, I'm loving reading, and the title of my book. I can't wait to, please send me the full manuscript if it's still available. I can't wait to dive in.
Wow.
But that's full on. So
that's not like, that's not a generic response.
No, and it blew me away. The funny thing is, when listener zero died, I was still talking to her after she died. And she was the last person to read my manuscript. Wow. And she was really encouraging of me all the time. And a lot of people, when you write a book, a lot of people say, I'd love to read your book. Yeah, send it to me. They never read it. They might read a couple of pages and just go, oh, look, it was really good. I just didn't have time to read it. Yeah. So she actually did. And I was really happy about that. And she kind of brought it back to life by reading it for me. So that happened. Another funny thing that happened was I've got a friend with a certain surname, and Erica hadn't met her before. We went out to dinner with her, and Erica tried to message her the day before I got this email from the agent. Let's just say her surname was Mays, right, with an M.
Yeah.
When Erica was putting her name into her contacts, she typed it as Hayes, like with the different first letter.
Yeah.
And Erica's like, is it that? Oh, no. So then she just kept checking. She's like, oh, why did I keep typing that? The name of the agent, the surname of the agent, is the wrong name Erica was typing.
Oh, wow.
Erica had no idea. Right.
There's all these connections.
I didn't even know who I sent because, you send it out like it's like spamming people.
It just goes into the ether, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my friend after she died, and I did ask her, I was thinking, oh, I wonder if she'll help me get my book published. And anyway, the name of the agency this agent works for, let's just say it's Jane Doe Literary Agent, right?
Yeah.
Her mother's name is Jane.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So obviously I've changed the names.
There's a lot there, isn't there? Wow, there's a lot of little coincidences.
Well, and the agent herself is of a minority, and she's also queer. Yeah. Listener Zero's sister is also queer, and Listener Zero is the most inclusive person in the world. Yeah. So she always stood up for minorities and that sort of thing. So I just felt like it was like her fingerprints were all over this. Like if anyone, if there was some sort of cosmic way of pushing this in a certain direction, her hand was behind it. That's how it felt. Now, of course, people would say, Kiwi, mate, it's a coincidence, settle down. I choose to believe that Listener Zero was behind there helping me. Now, I'm going to keep going with my crazy meditation and try to talk to her, and I'm going to ask her myself, right? And again, any listeners listening to this are just rolling their eyes, go, oh, Kiwi, you've lost your mind. Totally fine, because I haven't lost my mind if I'm aware that I could have lost my mind, okay? If I'm lost in the source, I don't realize there's any source. So don't worry, I'm okay. But it's just nice to believe. So I guess this whole experience has given me something to believe in. And look, this is a huge development for me. I've never had any success in the writing world before. I've worked so hard on this. Even to have one person enjoy my ideas is huge. So, hey, look, I might become a published novelist, and that's enough for me. I just wanted to achieve one epic thing in my life. That would be amazing. So Listener Zero, wherever she is, I'm still talking to her. I'm still thinking about her. I talk to her every day. So that's where I've been in the past 9 months, listeners. So, or 1 year. I don't know how long it's been since we've recorded. But so Jared's quit alcohol and I've quit logic. Yeah.
Could be an interesting show for the next night. Wow. That's quite the I mean, I love hearing coincidence stories, and and you add the warmth of that it's somebody who recently departed that could be helping you. Like I think that's lovely to hear. Awesome that your work has been noticed, as you said, and I think there's more to this story is going to occur, or there's going to be more to this over the next few episodes or next few months that you'll be able to report back. But I think and some of the things you said in that, and I don't think we have time, but it fascinates me about I still talk to her daily, and I'd love to if you're comfortable in the future, like talk about how you do that, and how you experience that is fascinates me, but I don't think we have time now. That was a question without notice, so I'm sorry if you don't feel comfortable with it.
No, I'm totally comfortable. Look, I think we've got about a minute, Jared. So I'll just say I've spoken to her out loud. I speak to her in my thoughts. I've only had one dream about her. We went bike riding. Very wholesome. We've never done that in real life, but that was nice to see her. And I always think of her as healthy. I do still visualize actually her when she was unhealthy, but mostly I think of her in the good days when she was well. But look, I love her dearly. I still love her. I speak in the present tense because it's a possibility. Look, like I said, we're all energy. It's just, this one frequency that just happens to be something we all agree on. Apparently there's these ideas that we create reality with our minds. Who knows, Jared? Okay. We might be living in a simulation. So everything's on the table for me. And I'm just going to do my best to live the best I can by being a good person, by being kind to people, by being open-minded. You know, I've got my thoughts on organized religion, that sort of thing. It doesn't mean I have an issue with anyone in those religions. I'm just being honest and saying, hey, look, you know, this is what I think.
Yeah.
And just like everyone else who believes in those religions, quite openly actually go along and proselytize their religion and may judge others. So I think it's fair that, you know, there's a bit of back and forth and we can actually have a talk. But at the end of the day, we're all human. Who knows? Maybe we all come from the one place, and, you know, we just have to practice loving kindness with one another, really.
That's it. I agree. Love and kindness.
Yeah. As my dear friend Jarad Weston says, be human.
Be human.
Jarad, thank you so much. It's been a long, long time since we've done this. I really appreciate your morning. Have a great one.
You too, buddy.
And to all our listeners, thanks for joining us again. I didn't even remember to thank you, but yeah, thanks for this. And sorry it's been so long. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you'll want more. Yep.
And we'll hopefully be able to sort that for you. And we've got some big plans of continuing this on. So share, and we'll get back on board and start recording more for you.
Thank you, Jarad.
Thanks, mate. Bye.